Hello, Internet, and welcome back to Antiheroes Anonymous, or welcome for the first time if it's your first time joining us. I'm Ethan, and I'm the Dungeon Master for this 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons show. I will have some announcements and a recap for all of you, but before we dive into any of that, Nick, would you please go ahead and take it away for some player introductions?
Sure. Hi, I'm Nick. I play Embers of White Ash, the Tabaxi Sunsoul Monk.
Hi, I'm Kay, and I play Lady Elwyn Amalus, who is a elvish Circle of the Land druid.
Hello, I'm Melissa, and I play Charm, who is a Thray Queen, Stormkeeper Ranger.
Hi, I'm Zach, and I play Vert, the Changeling Armor Artificer.
Thank you, everyone. Those announcements we talked about. We premiere our episodes on YouTube on Mondays at 7 p.m. Pacific time. Throughout the show, we use a variety of custom items, custom monsters, custom lineages, all of that good custom stuff, so be aware of that as you're watching. If you want information about the artists who have contributed to the character art that you see throughout the show, you can check out the description for this video for more information. If you want a refresher, my brain just stopped. A refresher on anything that's going on in this campaign, you can check out our campaign wiki at World Anvil. There's a page on there called The Story So Far, which will get you caught up quick on Campaign 2 of Antiheroes Anonymous. You can also check the video description for links and information about everything I just mentioned and more, including some links to Black Lives Matter and Stop Asian Hate resources. And other than that, you can just, if you want to, follow us on Twitter at AntiheroesAnon, and we just hope you enjoy the show, share with your friends, and come back to watch some more. Let's go ahead and get right into it with our intro video. And welcome back. Previously on Antiheroes Anonymous, the Silver Seekers have arrived in the Drow city of Erudition in the Underdark, where they hope to find the trail of Elwyn's missing mother. Before that, however, they must stop the city from being torn apart by the eroding winds of a primal nexus. The Erudite Collective has a way down to the nexus involving a strange apparatus, and it's almost ready for full production. But the League of Terrors had eyes inside the Collective's lab and sent saboteurs to destroy the early efforts. The Seekers fought them off, but several components were damaged and or destroyed in the process, leaving them to take stock of what's left. And so we will pick up exactly where we left off last week. The group of you managed to ward off this assault of like snake-like people that walked kind of bipedally, but also a little bit using their arms as, extra locomotion, as well as these strange tentacle-headed creatures that had kind of this feral aspect to them. And all of this culminated in the tentacle-headed creatures being defeated, and when the serpent-like creatures saw their presumed leaders go down, they all made a mass exodus and threw themselves off the edge of the stalactite into the black void, presumably to their deaths. And so the group of you are left standing on the edge of the Ingenuity stalactite of the city of Erudition, looking down into the black void, your hair and clothes being whipped by the fierce gale force winds that are erupting from down below. And I will turn things over to you. What would you like to do?
I still had one of them webbed to a wall and paralyzed for the next hour.
Elwyn does have one of the strange tentacle-headed creatures webbed to a wall. Remind me, how long is it unconscious for? Does the ability say that?
I think it just says that if it regains hit points, it remains paralyzed for an hour.
Okay.
It doesn't say anything about like how long the unconsciousness lasts, I don't think.
So looking at this creature that you have webbed to the wall, you're fairly certain, unless someone does something to regain it, to like give it more hit points, unless someone gives it some healing, it will probably be unconscious for longer than it is paralyzed.
That can be arranged.
They were only speaking like telepathically to one another, right? Like they never actually vocalized anything.
No. Weirdly, it was a very silent invasion in terms of there was no shouts of commands. There was, there were cries of pain, and there were the tentacle creatures shouted with like an accompanied psionic blast from their minds. But like other than that, it was weirdly quiet.
Oh. Yeah, I think Rhyme is just going to stand at the edge kind of perplexed, looking down at where they jumped off and getting like battered by rocks and stuff. It's like, I don't understand. I don't know why they would come here only to sacrifice themselves.
So, Charmel asks...
The other thing I'll say about that, since you watched them throw themselves off, they did descend into the darkness, like they fell, but the winds from below kind of whipped them around, thrashed them left and right as they went, but also there was a little bit of a lift effect to it. Like they weren't descending at the full rate of, falling downward. I mean, when they hit the ground several hundred feet below, they'll still splat and die for sure, but the winds kind of thrashed them and threw them around a bit. It wasn't like they were just falling straight down, Yeah,
very turbulent descent, yeah.
So Charmel asked Lady Elwyn telepathically, do you want me to interrogate the prisoner and ask how he got wind of this laboratory?
Still in spider form, but can telepathically speak because druids. Elwyn will respond, yes, I think that's a fine idea if we can get it to wake up.
Southern spider.
Okay.
The group of you see the scholars kind of beginning to poke their heads out of their chambers and things like that. And among them, you do see Scholar Dolil, as well as Mr. Forge Fury, the artificer who was in charge of creating the physical form of this apparatus. And they're both poking their heads out of chambers, kind of looking warily to see if there's any more danger.
I'll drop spider form. Turn back into Elwyn. And I'll cast Healing Word on the creature. First level.
Okay.
I'll tell Skull Jalil. It's all clear. People can come out now.
Oh, thank goodness. Honestly, it's such a miracle that the group of you were here. If you hadn't... We don't have warriors here. If you hadn't been here, we... who knows what would have happened.
Get 7 hit points back.
I don't think anything would have happened to you. They didn't really fight us, but you might want to have a look at the prototype to see what can be salvaged.
Oh, they were after the... Oh, no. And they motioned to Kremik Forge Fury to kind of get him to come out of the room. and kind of have a short whispered conversation in Undercommon, and then they break off, each of them kind of gathering teams of scholars and forge workers around themselves to go and kind of inspect the damage.
Can I go with them?
Mm-hmm.
I want to talk to Mr. Forge Fury.
We will stick with Elwyn for the moment, though.
Yep.
And whoever else wants to be in the room. This
I'll go with her.
creature comes to consciousness. You can see it begin to stir, but obviously it's still paralyzed, so it is kind of held in place. There's not much head or body movement to it, and it is restrained in the webs as well. But you can tell that it has regained consciousness.
I am going to cast... Wait. Oh, I'm not concentrating on anything. So yeah, I'm going to cast Detect Thoughts with my medallion.
Mm-hmm.
And... then look at Charm. And basically say, see what you can find out.
Elwyn, this creature's surface thoughts, they're not words. This thing is not thinking in language or anything like that. You just get feelings and emotions from it. It's experiencing frustration, annoyance, a little bit of anxiety, fear. But yeah, you don't sense any like language or words from its thoughts.
Okay, so Charm will go up to it and try to communicate. Hello, my name is Charm. What's your name?
You get back a feeling of defiance and a little bit of annoyance.
Okay, so we're not going to be able to communicate with it at all then.
Can I try to probe deeper?
Yeah, absolutely. What's the saving throw?
I'm looking up the thingamabob. It's a DC 13 wisdom. I believe it's wisdom.
Okay. Elwyn, you probe deeper into this creature's mind, and with the targeted lance of thought that you are projecting towards it, you feel a powerful mental resistance against it. This thing is more than capable of resisting your intrusion into its mind, but then you feel that cave from the inside. And you make contact with something or someone. Why, hello.
Is this the same voice that we've heard before?
Before as in when?
What is it? The
little guy, the little
well, recently
kobold?
with the little kobold dude.
When you spoke to the tattoo on...
Yeah.
What's his name? Why can't I think of it? Snork. Yes. No, it's a different voice. That voice was deeper, with a more of a resonance to it. This has kind of a little bit more. It's nowhere near as deep. It's a little bit more nasal, and it's has a little bit of an unhinged quality to it. Elwyn Almalos. Hello.
Hi. I'm sorry. It seems my reputation has preceded me.
Yes, indeed it does. Indeed
With whom do I
it
have the pleasure of
does.
speaking?
You address Cephalosk, favored arm of the eldest brain and servant of the Mad Queen. A pleasure to make your acquaintance at long last. My very favorite serpentine minion talks about you all the time.
Well, I'm glad we could have left an impression. What can I do for you? You've sent your people here?
Yes, indeed, and you've rebuffed them. Impressive work. It was delightful to watch you work from behind their eyes, I must say.
Certainly you can't be surprised, given our history.
No, I'm certainly not. This is true.
What are you doing down there at the Nexus?
You know, don't you?
I thought part of the whole evil genius gig was the pleasure of spreading your evil plans and sharing them with the world.
A common misconception, no. Despite our reputation, we don't all love to monologue.
Pity. You would have had a willful audience here right now.
Unfortunately, I find it gives the so-called heroes more advantage
Well,
than I prefer to give.
you're worried over nothing. We've already got all the information we need.
Precisely.
So it's kind of laughable that you're still trying.
Trying, succeeding. I've accomplished what I set out to do down here. I've learned what I needed to.
Then why does this vehicle pose a threat to you?
It doesn't, per se, not in the long term. There is something I wish to do that I have not yet, but it's an optional requirement at this point.
Seems like you have your fingers in a lot of cookie jars, if you pardon the expression. Interesting that you can keep your attention in so many places at once.
Oh, your ignorance is delightful. We are a league, Elwyn Amelos. I am just one part of many. My attention is here, but our attention can reach so much further.
Is that supposed to be a threat?
Merely the truth.
Well, maybe it's best that you underestimate us. Then you won't see us coming. And I'm going to end the spell.
You end the spell, and everyone in the room feels a powerful force pressing on your minds, and the voice enters everyone's minds now. Silver Seekers. I just had the pleasure of speaking to your very own Elwyn Amelos, and now I address you as a whole. I respect what you have accomplished and the skill that you display. You could all be favored minions, favored vessels in our new world order. And so I give you this opportunity. Turn back before I am forced to kill you, before those I work with who are greater than you can even imagine are forced to kill you. I would not have you holding it against me when your eventual end comes. And
Are you finished?
it kind of goes silent at that point.
Ellen will just look at Charm and shrug.
Egomaniac for sure.
I have really had it today with things messing with my mind.
Me too.
If none of you respond to this, which I don't know, why would you?
I didn't know. I didn't think we could.
Yeah.
But you can if you want to.
Mhm.
Yeah. But if you just kind of let that hang on the end or hang into silence, the voice echoes into your head one more time and it just says, "Very well. You've had your warning." And you watch as your captive, webbed to the wall, begins to thrash a little bit despite the paralysis, and a whining, high-pitched sound pierces all of your ears as it thrashes more violently and more violently until you see blood running from its eyes, and then its head
Can I?
explodes
All right.
right against the wall.
Elwyn runs away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Makes
Just
sense.
into another
Yeah.
room, falling back, Vile. Like, oh god, oh god, oh god, oh god. Into the hallway, I guess.
Okay, so I'm trying to picture the scene. Head explodes, still bound to the wall.
Mm-hmm.
I imagine a lot of blood got on a couple of these researchers who were like there at the apparatus trying to figure out what's wrong. Just like whoosh.
Kramik Forge Fury is there, and he just basically leaps back. What in the nine hells?
Okay, can you tell me the voice's name one more time? I didn't write it fast enough.
Cephalosk,
Losk.
the one tentacled angel. No, that's not actually his title. He said Cephalosk. What?
Favorite arm of the eldest brain and servant of the Mad Queen.
Yep.
Okay, I got the servant of the Mad King, but I just missed the name. Okay,
It's real
Me.
hard to remember to dig through my notes and have a conversation with a bad guy at the same time. The Decayed Death is the one I was trying to think of earlier. Cephalosk. Okay. Yeah. This was Snork's
And you've
master.
heard Cephalosk's. Yeah, you've heard
Yeah.
Cephalosk's name before from Snork.
He's the one that's going around breaking the Primal Nexus seals,
Mm-hmm.
apparently.
And Snork said that he was
In the
psionically very powerful.
Yep. He created the hood that went on the ant.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't think he would have threatened us so harshly if he didn't think we were a threat. So we must be on the right track. Now, is there a chamber part or something I can borrow? Because I'm about to be sick.
Oh, yeah, hold on. Scholar Doliel runs into what is presumably their room and comes back with a flower. It's basically like a pot that has like, it's like a potted mushroom, and they dump out the mushroom and just hand it to you.
Elwyn excuses herself for a little bit.
She doesn't like blood.
No, it's a problem for her.
I don't like it that much either, but when you're an alchemical specialist, you get over working with all types of liquids. So
Charm goes over and uses all four hands to hold her hair. away.
Well, her hair's kind of up, but yeah.
Pats your back, rubs your back.
What's everyone else doing?
yeah, let's I guess Rhyme / Vert.
Mm-hmm.
Were you mainly inspecting the apparatus? Because the interrogation happened in that same room, or were you going to like inspect the like the compound and the
Yeah.
slash formula and the notes and all that.
So, depending on how this all goes, I mean, what I was going to do can happen over the course of the next, several minutes, hour, whatever. But yeah, I was basically going to come over with the other researchers and kind of like look at the prototype and consider if I could use like mending on it if we need it to be repaired. Because from my understanding is that it was only like a scaled model of what's actually going to be used. So like if the prototype worked and we got the information from it, does it really matter? But if for some reason we needed it, then I can consider trying to help them repair it.
It does matter.
Okay.
The prototype itself was probably like they were going to build onto it and kind of make it into a finished product.
I see.
So like it wasn't a feature complete apparatus, but they were going to use that to create one of the two that they were planning on sending down.
Okay.
So it's it wasn't fully destroyed, but its damage is relevant. And the damage to the the plans and the notes and things like that, some of that they have in their memories, obviously, but there is information lost there as well that sets them back a bit.
For that one, I was wondering how recently they were made, because if they were made within the last the duration of review memory, then we can look at that in like chunks and and get an idea of what, or if anyone's passed by the documents and looked at them, we can look at that by memory and then just like remake them.
I mean, you've looked at them recently, so, and among like other people, certainly yes. That is one option. It will be quite a bit of work, and it's more work than just you can do, probably, to get this back on track. The research team left to itself is probably set back a couple days. With your help and the help of your friends, it's possible they could get back on track to be ready to do this thing like tomorrow or the day after. It will depend on a skill challenge and how well the group of you can come together to make up for what was damaged, essentially. And the amount that was damaged kind of set the DC for how hard that will be to get back on track.
Okay.
But yes, like ideas like review memory, if you have like spells and things like that you could cast to help that, will certainly help throughout that process.
Yeah, I was... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I also wanted to ask if the fluid that was used is in any way compatible or similar to a potion of climbing.
It would probably be Scholar Dolil, who you'd want to talk about this with.
Because I know it comes from the creature that's in the Underdark, but I didn't know if it was like, if a potion uses that component to make it, or as a a type of potion of climbing.
Do you have the ability to make the potion of climbing, or have you already used it today?
We didn't use it today.
You didn't use it today.
No, they all hitched a ride on me.
Yep.
Freeloaders.
If you produced it, Scholar Dolil would probably be able to take a look at it and check for similarities. Or if you wanted to on your own, you could make an Arcana check.
I can make an Arcana check on my own first, and then also maybe just have a conversation while I'm doing that with them about it. Do you want me to do that now?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. That is 18, because I'm not yet proficient in Arcana, but I'm working on it.
That's still pretty good, though.
That is pretty good.
Yeah, you're kind of examining the compound itself, and a lot was lost during the raid. Let's see, looking at it looks like this was like 76% damaged before the raid ended. Quite a bit damaged.
Fluid container? Okay.
Oh no.
So a lot of it is like spilled across the floor.
Yeah.
And they had been stockpiling to try and get it ready for when these apparatuses were prepared. But not only that, like some of the devices they were using to produce the thing were damaged. But you examine it and you take a look. It's actually quite distinct from a potion of climbing, because a potion of climbing is something that is meant to be ingested and it alters your physical being, right?
Sure.
But this is more like an external substance that is meant to be applied, and then it clings to things, right? So it's actually it's quite different.
Yeah. Okay.
In the end, same effect to an extent, but quite different in like the makeup of
the composition and stuff. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I just wasn't sure if it could, similar reagents or not would have any positive effects, but that's fine. So, and then also, I don't know if it's just an artificer thing, but mending does help me. It allows me to repair soul if he gets damaged. So I figured it would probably work for the damage that could be done to mechanical devices.
It will certainly help, I think.
Okay.
When it comes to, trying to do the actual repairs for this apparatus.
Okay. But yeah, I mean, I guess that's kind of what I'm doing for this next, however long it takes to do some triage and kind of assess the situation, and then come back to the group and maybe start asking if anyone has any skills that they think would help for getting us back on track.
What I will tell you, Ben, in kind of like an above game sense, is that what this will come down to, since the notes overall between the two sets of notes were actually the least damaged between everything, to make up for the damage done to the notes, if you're working on that, you're going to be trying to hit a DC of 15, and what skills you apply towards that will be up to you. For the prototype or the formula, since they were more damaged, you're looking to hit a higher DC of 18. And overall, the group of you need to achieve is 5 successes. Wait, let me double check that. Yeah, 5 successes before 3 failures.
Okay.
But how you go about that is up to you. And if you have things like spells or abilities that you feel like you can apply towards it, those could potentially give you advantage on a check. They could give you an automatic success. It really depends on what you apply towards it and how you do it.
Okay. I think I have an idea of what I want to do to help. If we're going into this, I don't know if we want to do anything else first.
I'm ready to.
I think this is probably the most pressing, so go ahead.
Okay. I think I offered to help Scholar Delil with the extraction and preparation of the cave fisher secretions, because Embers has a lot of experience, handling animals and, treating animals and, hunting, basically. So this can be a survival check for Embers.
Yeah, I think survival makes sense for that. And they have, in kind of a cold room off to, one side of this, they have a meat locker, basically, that has a bunch of these cave fishers, dead specimens stored into it. And so you can bring out a bunch of those and set them on the dissection tables. And yeah, basically use your survival skills to try and extract the materials or the components that are necessary to get from that for that part of the process.
Okay.
And yeah, since this is the formula, it's DC 18.
All right, this is a +6, so I need at least a 12.
So if we have guidance and stuff, how do we apply stuff like that, or can we apply stuff like that here?
So this will probably go in rounds of each of you doing one thing. I would say each one of you who can use guidance can use that once per round.
Okay.
Yep.
And then
I would say you have to use it before the result is determined. So Nick has rolled. If you want to use it, now's your time.
So the second question before we resolve that, can we also take, in some cases, the help action or offer?
You could take the help action, but I think it would probably sacrifice your attempt towards progressing this.
Yeah, which I think is a pretty good idea sometimes.
Like if you can't think of something, sure.
Yeah. And then
Well, I also have an enhanced ability prepared today, so
oh, okay.
I can do that once.
And then is it just kind of a grab bag of like, I want to work on the fluid or I want to work on the prototype? And okay, we can just, we're not like going from one
No, and you
place
can
to another.
Okay. As we progress through rounds of this, you could switch between objectives.
Okay, I'm good.
All right. How'd you do, Nick?
Well, I needed an 18 and I got a 10.
Okay.
We're at one
Not
failure
quite there.
already.
That's okay though. So Scholar Dolil kind of spreads this thing out and tries to, show you what to do, but their attention is being so pulled away by everyone else that eventually you're pretty much left to yourself to try and extract the compounds you need from this creature. And it is you've seen lobsters before. How hard can it be?
Right.
But you open this thing up and the anatomy is totally different. Like it is a crustacean, and that is where the similarities end. You're just kind of stuck at a loss of what to do here. Who wants to go next?
Rhyme had something, so
I have several things. So I guess between I'm sort of between either doing review memory for the notes or mending for the prototype. I mean, I can do both, I guess, on one round, one or the other, but let's go with the prototype first, I guess.
Well, that's not at all the right song. The problem is I don't know what a lot of these songs that I have are.
I like
we'll just
that
go
one.
with this one. This one's probably good.
Okay.
Okay. So you kind of make your way over to the prototype section, where you see Kramik Forge Fury is hard at work, already at the forge, kind of hammering plates and shaping different parts into the shapes they need to be to try and repair this thing. And what is your approach?
So, I mean, I could either help him as a fellow tools user, like Smith's tools or whatever, and being proficient at that, or I can use mending, which, like I said, is a spell that can just magically repair cracks and other, damage to those types of components. So if you
want to do like a combination of the two, what we could do is your use of mending. I know it's a cantrip, so I'm not going to give you like full advantage, but I'll give you, I'd say, a +2.
Okay.
And then if you want to make that Smith's tools check with a +2.
So it's +2, and then proficiency? Or is it...
So it'd be... With Smith's tools, it'd probably be dexterity. Or strength? Not strength. We'll go intelligence, just because we'll play to your strengths. Intelligence plus proficiency, and then an additional +2.
Okay. And you said I need an 18?
No, not on the apparatus. It's not as badly damaged. Or was it?
The prototype and the 15, formula are both an 18.
Oh, okay,
They both got to exactly 76% damaged. The notes total between the two note stations were only 66% damaged.
Okay.
So that's a 22.
Okay. That's a success. So 1 and 1.
All right. Good progress.
You and Kramik basically established this rhythm of Kramik is working hard at the forge and then like passing you parts, and you were adding them into the apparatus and like mending at the same time to get the like perfect seamless connection. Yeah. You guys established a really good flow.
Good match.
Who wants to go next?
I will.
Okay.
Okay. Term's trying to figure out how she can help with the note taking. I mean, repairing the notes, and she thinks that since she's got the telepathy thing going on, all one of them would have to do is think, and she can write really fast with her hands. So if she puts a pen in all four,
Oh, no.
all four arms, she can write really fast. And that could possibly be we could do like perception because it's all with her thoughts.
Yeah, perception.
To get them back on paper real fast.
Yeah, perception could work. Yeah, because you're trying to like take in
or insight,
all of these things at once. Maybe insight makes more sense because you're trying to take in all of the information at once and then...
Or like perception, but with int instead of whiz.
Yeah.
I think whizzes are better.
Yeah.
I think so too.
I know, that's why I'm trying to go that way.
I mean, I'm gonna be lenient on these things. So I think that either perception or insight.
Maybe
works,
survival?
whichever one you want to do.
You know?
Definitely not survival though. I'm not gonna be that lenient.
Maybe animal handling? Maybe.
In general, if you can like come up with one you want to use and justify it, I'm good with that. So.
Well, I think insight because I'm intuiting from their mind on the paper, so I think that would make okay sense.
Yeah,
all right, here we go. So I need to beat a 15. And I rolled a 13, and I have a +6. So it's a success.
Yep. So Charm is basically set up in the library with 4 different tables, 4 different sets of notes, and you basically have a squad of researchers around you who are looking at the different pieces of, damaged materials and trying to see what they can remember of it, and you are reproducing everything they remember onto these 4 sheets of paper simultaneously.
That's awesome.
It is cool.
Good.
I love that note-taking is Charm's superpower.
It's very meta. Very meta.
Very meta, Melissa.
He put notes in here, so hey.
I think that Elwyn's strengths are probably going to be with the substance, trying to help them. Maybe she sees Ember's having a hard time and comes over and just like kicks her out and takes over. Like, you know what? Why don't you're probably better off helping somewhere else. I'll take care of this. And so I was thinking maybe animal handling to help. Like,
yeah,
either that or I can just cast enhance ability on the scholar Deliel.
Well,
to give him a better chance of being able to give them a better chance of being able to.
I mean, how's your nature? That's one thing you could do.
Nature's
kind of pushing Embers aside.
Yeah, I mean, animal handling slightly better, but yeah, it's all right.
Animal handling is a bit of a weird case since these things are kind of already dead.
Yeah, and they're not really animals. But I could do these things have blood? That's the other question.
They probably did at one point, but I would want to say they've been probably drained of it by now because it's not really useful. And
okay, then would you allow me to cast
locker,
enhance ability on myself and then attempt to assist in the extraction of the substance? Yep. Okay, let me mark that off. Give myself Fox's cunning. Advantage on intelligence checks. And then I'll do a nature check.
Okay.
Oh boy.
At advantage.
At advantage. I'm going to use my new one. And because it's nature, this one. Ooh. That is 24.
Okay, that beats the 18 you were looking for. Yeah, so Ember's Elwyn kind of comes over and you can see that she has the shimmer of enhanced ability upon her. And she kind of, I think, gently, moves you aside a little bit and kind of begins to show you what to do. And before too long, the two of you are able to kind of, work in there together and begin to extract the things that you need to get from this creature at a much quicker pace. All right, things are looking good. That's what, 3-1?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
2 more successes before 2 more failures. And we're back around to Embers.
Do we have to go in the same order, or could somebody else do something?
I mean, I can go if you want.
Some-
Somebody
Because
else
I've
could
been-
jump in.
Yeah, I've been racking my brains trying to figure out what can Embers sew to help these people, and I'm like, I don't know if this is a situation where Embers' talents are called
Yeah.
for. So,
That's okay.
Rhyme.
Yeah,
I'm
we
tagging
can
Rhyme
switch to
in.
Rhyme.
Okay. Yeah, so I can also switch gears to the notes. Go ahead, Ethan.
I will say, like I said earlier, if Embers is struggling to find things to do, Nick, you can help. You can do the help action to give someone
that's true.
advantage. That's also an option.
Okay. Yeah, I'll go and help Charm with whatever Charm's going to do next.
Yeah, so I guess my next thing would be using review memory, if as needed, which can extend to as far as a month prior. So if there's documents that are like haven't been looked at in a while that were created, a couple weeks ago or whatever, then I can talk to that researcher who made them.
So how many castings of this do you have available, and how many do you want to use?
I have 4 available, and I'll use all of them if I have to.
Okay. Then yeah, whatever. Let's say you would probably want to do.
I can also use it on
Maybe-
myself. So if there's documents that were destroyed that I looked at and was redlining and stuff, then I can do that.
Yeah, it's going to be some kind of intelligence check.
I like what I'm hearing.
Intelligence.
Maybe, investigation or...
Yeah, that works. So it'd be an investigation check, and you'll have advantage on top of that. So
how many uses do I need to expend?
if you've said you're going to expend all of them, then
I can
it
do
would
all
be
of
all of them.
Okay.
Yep. And that's
So-
a combination of casting review memory on yourself
Mhm.
and on
Mr. Forge Fury and any other
Mr. Forge
researchers who are-
Fury and the various researchers and Forge workers who are supporting this effort.
Ready?
Mm-hmm.
That's a 15.
And these were, let's see, this was the notes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's exactly what you needed.
I rolled a
Okay.
3 and a 7.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Crazy. Yeah, that was really close. Okay, yeah, so that works out. So it's probably a bit strenuous to go from memory to memory and kind of try and remember everything and keep it what's the word I'm looking for, keep it correct and
Mm-hmm. But you're probably dictating to some of the scholars, as you're reviewing the memories, you're telling them what you see. And then when you come out of the memories, you're correcting things that they
Yeah.
didn't get quite right.
Yeah.
And there's big chalkboards and whiteboards that all of you are drawing on. And then that's being copied over to blueprint paper.
and then Charm is there.
Charm.
Okay,
The
that's my
notes
turn.
master. Okay.
No, I can just imagine paper just flying off and then the researchers picking it up after she's finished with it,
Mhm.
putting it in order.
Elwyn or Charm? Any ideas?
I know.
Since
don't
we
know.
have 4 successes and this could be the last one, it would make sense to go with Charm since that's who Ember's helping. But either
Yeah.
way.
Yeah. You guys go
Okay.
first.
So, should we switch over? I can't think of anything that I could do with the prototype, but I could try to get help with the formula.
I would say,
Well,
yeah,
the-
at this point, the notes are probably in pretty good shape. I don't think the notes need any more help. So
Yeah.
it's probably either the prototype or
The-
the formula.
The prototype probably has a lot of small fiddly bits that 2 people with high dexterity could help a lot with.
Mm-hmm.
And do we have those? What's my dex? +3.
Yeah, so something
Well-
like that would be like a sleight of hand or...
Oh, man.
Okay. It's a +3
Sleight
but
of
it's higher
hands.
DC too. So, let's try it. You're helping I get advantage, right? I get to
Mhm.
roll.
Yeah.
Okay.
+3 is not great.
I know.
I have a plus
You don't
5.
have to do that thing.
If you want to switch, I have a plus 5 to sleight of hand.
Great,
We could
you do
reverse
it.
it. Yep.
I'm also our only failure. Well, let's see how this goes. Okay, so Charm's helping me with this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and we need an 18, so I need a 13 on die.
You guys got this.
Oh yeah, there's my 15. And a 2.
Yeah, sweet.
Oh my god.
All right,
so
that's
yeah.
a dirty 20.
With the careful direction of Kramik Forge Fury and the other, attendants building the apparatus, the two of you are basically, you're like inside the apparatus at times, screwing in the little bits, or you're Embers, you'll have to like climb on top of the thing to make like adjustments to the arms and things like that. Basically just fine-tuning this thing to get it back to where it was before, and perhaps even a little bit above where it was before. And this entire process, the group of you trying to help out getting the scholars back on track, takes several hours. To the point where the group of you are probably, just like in terms of your biological clocks, it would be about nighttime, but like who knows what time it is actually on the surface. But all of you are feeling a little bit tired because you have been at it for a long time today.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, between all of your efforts, you managed to get this project back on track. And Scholar Dolil comes up and says, they kind of wipe a bit of sweat off of their brow with a little bit like a handkerchief, and kind of come up to the group of you and I think just say, wow, when those things attacked, and we haven't even had a chance to talk about what those things were. I've never seen anything like them. That's not the point. When those things attacked, I thought it was the end for Erudition, because as far as I know, this is our last hope. And without the group of you, I don't think we could have gotten back on track. So thank you, each and every one of you. And Scholar Dolil kind of goes and gives each of you, like, they clasp a hand in two of their hands and just shake it. Give a little bow as they do.
Well, you're helping us help you, so... And your work here is phenomenal. It really is. We appreciate it. I hope you do take a well-deserved rest tonight as well.
Scholar Dolil kind of gives a little bit of like a lopsided grin at that, but around that time, Kramik Forge Fury comes up, and in Undercommon, I think basically he slaps Vert on the back, I guess Rhyme on the back, and says, "Yeah, we did a pretty good job here. It's got to be said. I really think that everything, honestly, we're better than we were before." And Scholar Dolil kind of translates the sentiment, but in nicer and like prettier words to the group. And yeah, Scholar Dolil then says, Look, I had been anticipating that our Stoic Sentinels, or maybe some people who frequent the hold on, what is the name of this thing? The Zauvir Gymnasium would be the ones to go down in this thing and confront whatever's down there, but I feel a lot better knowing that it's going to be the group of you. Honestly, Erudition, we don't have a lot of fighters. We tend to value more mental attributes, and those of us who do favor the physical, sure, they strive for perfection, but it's not our strong suit. And so I appreciate that it's going to be the group of you, and I think that with your help now, we should have these ready by the end of tomorrow? Would you say tomorrow? And they say that to Kramik, and he kind of confirms loudly in Undercommon, and then they translate back, yeah, Mr. Forge Fury thinks tomorrow, too. End of tomorrow, we should be ready.
Great. That's wonderful news. Thank you.
No, I haven't done much of anything. I mean, we've been researching here for a month, and it was almost just all lost, so...
Speaking of, there's supposed to be some kind of forum happening soon, I think. If there are any members of the collective here that would like to attend, I can help with that. If anyone is available.
Yeah, Alen'dal kind of like looks around and says, I think pretty much everyone here would like to attend if they could, but I know that's a little bit of a burden. You'd have to carry us all one by one, wouldn't you?
Well, I've been thinking about it, helping with that substance, and I think I might be able to just give someone one at a time the ability to just walk on over there by themselves across the ceiling.
That could be something.
It would be a little slow going, but...
Probably a little dangerous with the rocks and things.
Yes, that's also true.
Elwyn, roll a perception check.
Okay. Oh, that was abysmal. 10.
That's what you needed. You look around at the group of people here, and I mean, with the exception of Kramik Forge Fury, like pretty much everyone here is a scholar's build. Kramik, even like Kramik's Forge attendants, they are clearly scholars that have been co-opted into this role.
Well,
they would need some protection, or they're going to get crushed by rocks on the way.
I know it'd be dangerous, but we might be able to. We might be able to work something out.
Okay. Yes. Yeah. I don't know the details of what this forum is about. We got a signal that it's a potential solution. So I get that it's important, but that's about all I know. I know that Shava Devere is an advocate, and she's a very prominent scholar at the university. I think that I heard Scholar Tassir is the other advocate, so that's big. So that's about all I know, though.
Yeah, it's a big one. Highly controversial, from what I understand.
Yeah, they nod. Well, I think we'd all like to be there if we could.
All right. Well, if you have
probably can't all, though, if we're going to make it on time. So some of us might have to stay behind. Probably me, to be honest.
Yeah, we'll see if we can make something work. Thanks again.
In the meantime, do the group of you need to rest? Are you... What's your plan?
Yeah, we need to find some place to find some lodging for the night, I think.
We have really only a couple spare rooms. They're kind of small and cramped. They're just the ones that our most junior people tend to use, but we have a couple spares if you want to rest in those.
We could do that, or if it's more convenient for us to find, is there any like inns or anything on another part of the city? We're happy to do that too if we need to.
Alen'dal tells you about 2 different inns that they know about. There is the Glowing Geode, which is on the Empathy Spire, and they kind of describe it as an affordable, kind of run-of-the-mill inn. Or on the Eloquence Spire, there's an upscale inn that they inn/tavern that they talk about. which is called the Fancy Flumph. Honestly, Erudition's inns don't see too much traffic, probably not, especially now. I haven't been out of this spire in a month, so I don't know what things are like over there, but I assume it's much of the same. So they'd probably appreciate your patronage, but if you don't want to pay for a room, or if you don't want to travel, if you don't have the means to travel because you need to rest, you're welcome to stay here. Our rooms are your rooms.
Appreciate the offer. I look around at the group. What do y'all think?
I'm tired.
I'll just stay here.
Yeah.
All
Agreed.
right. I guess we're taking you up on your offer then.
Okay. Then, yeah, one of the junior scholars kind of shows you to a section of the stalactite that is kind of back off away from the main research areas. It has, like these rooms have windows that are exposed to the outside that ordinarily would probably be pretty nice, but they've been like bolted over with metal sheets that you can see are clearly heavily dented from things berating them from the outside. Yeah, and this junior scholar just kind of like guides you to these rooms. They're small. You could probably all cram into one, or you could take two, and either way is fine.
Whatever the group wants to do.
Yeah, 2 is good.
2 sounds good.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Then yeah, the group of you can split off into 2 groups of 2 and kind of take to these rooms to rest. Is there anything you want to do while you're resting or talk about? Otherwise, we can skip ahead.
Well, Charms will just tell Embers, gosh, it was really fun working on that prototype with you. I don't think we would have worked so well if we hadn't, gotten to know each other so well beforehand.
Embers looks around the room. Is there anybody else in here?
I think it's just the 2 of you, if you split into 2 groups of 2.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why do you think I was laughing? I was like, I see how it is.
Uh-huh.
That's not mood music.
I don't know if I have any mood music.
Okay, yeah.
That's it?
Yep. I think we're gonna draw a line over that
That's
scene.
it.
But there's a scene there.
There's a scene.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I want to talk to Elwyn about something.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So once we're kind of, settling down and things get, or, quiets down a little bit, I'm just going to be like, hey, are you, we haven't really had a chance to talk about the things that have happened. Are you okay with, the giant web and stuff and whatever that means? And
she just kind of quietly hands you the staff.
Okay, I take it.
So you can get a better look at it, how it's changed. I don't know. I don't know what it means. I don't know. I didn't see a choice.
Yeah.
For everyone was going to die.
Yeah.
So the Weaver has been appearing to me lately, trying to get me to help her. I don't trust her, but it occurred to me that I don't even really know why.
Why you don't trust her? Or why what part of that?
Any of it.
Yeah. I mean, not wanting to trust a demon lord is a pretty good, thought sometimes.
That's the thing, though. This world has a long history. And the written histories only cover part of it. There are lots of stories about the Sisters of the Moon. She used to be good. There's a reason that things happened, and I don't know the whole story, and I judged her. I didn't give her a chance, and what kind of person does that make me?
I mean, well, it's kind of hard to tell what gods really want, right? So giving a chance to some entity that we sometimes truly can't even understand, not really the same as you and I giving a chance to somebody that we can actually see and communicate with. So I don't think it reflects in your character negatively at all to not want to listen to a all-powerful being, or choose to listen to an all-powerful being as well.
She's really hard to read, and I don't know what to make of her yet, but she did save that spire. She wants to reconnect with these people.
You sure of that? Like, she's
No.
not just... Okay. Yeah, I mean, given they're just daying over that, just choosing to die instead of wanting to be saved, that has to mean something, right? Isn't that strange?
I was kind of hoping we would be able to catch part of the
Go ahead, because I'm smiling.
It's kind of hoping we could catch part of the forum.
Yeah.
You know, I do want to hear what people think about it, and
you should go then. You're gonna take people over there anyways.
I'd like to.
Yeah, I think we can handle it here.
Find a way to protect them.
Well, when you come back and forth, I mean, I can cast a healing spell on you, or Charm can as well. Right? Should be okay.
On me, I don't know if any of them will survive getting pummeled by rocks. If I'm just going to be a taxi service tomorrow, that's fine, but I don't know how well I'll be able to protect them.
So, I wonder if this will work. Let's see, let me check the spell I have. I don't know if this will work. Yeah, I don't think this will work. Well, in any case, even if you don't take anyone over, just go anyways. Come back when it's done. Maybe you'll, figure out some more information that you're searching for.
I think Embers would probably go with me. She wrote testimony, I think she has she's invested a little bit, I think.
Yeah, I think, Charm and I will be fine then. We're sticking behind and helping out the researchers. So, how does this... I mean, have you talked to the Masked Lady at all? I know we haven't really had time to do anything except for what we, this stuff, but ever since the Weaver has been acting through you, how does that work with your relationship?
I called out for her first, to save the spire. She didn't answer. I don't think that she can reach me down here. At least not as well. I don't know what it means. When I told her I'd met the Weaver, it upset her. I don't know what's going to happen. And I don't know what this new power means. I don't even know if I should be using it, but I don't reckon I have a choice right now. This is bigger than us.
Hopefully not for long. Hopefully you'll be in a place where you can choose confidently what you want to do.
Yeah. That would be nice.
Yeah, maybe when we get to the bottom of this Nexus business, then we'll figure something out by then.
Wonder if, speaking of which, I wonder if your sister's having any luck.
I hope so.
We haven't gotten to talk about that either.
We haven't.
Are you okay?
I'm really okay, actually.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, I don't know how to explain it. Like it's both a very heavy weight off my shoulders and also just kind of like a small dream come true that, after all this time, I have someone I can connect with, and yeah.
Yeah.
Makes me a little, actually, really worried now that I need to be like an overprotective sibling. She's so
I think
ready to
that's
jump
her
into
role,
the fray.
actually.
I know, but
The role she's been playing since the day we met her.
it's true. I think we're gonna probably do that to each other, though.
She can take care of herself.
I know.
She's really cool, Bert.
He's super cool.
I'm glad she stuck around.
Me too. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, obviously she has her own things she needs to take care of, so
Yeah. Well, maybe we
I'll,
can help her with some of that.
yeah. I'll just try and enjoy the time that we have for now, and then look forward to seeing her again once we have to, split up.
She'll know where to find us.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think it's probably best we go to bed.
Yeah, I think so.
Busy day tomorrow.
That it is.
Curtain.
Okay.
Sorry.
Get to it.
I want to have the curtain open on
Just
the other
a
theme.
peek.
Just a peek.
Sharing a cigarette.
Yeah, and I was just kind of like just lying there going, hey, Charm. That was just when they needed after today.
That's so.
I don't really know much about you. I feel like I should be asking.
Oh, I was playing Ember's song, but I'm going to switch to Charm's song. Hold on. There we go.
Well, there's not really much to tell so far. I had a life. I saw an injustice and I tried to fix it. And now I don't ever want to go back. That's all.
What was the injustice?
Well, it had to do with the person that you met before. But I don't know how much that person would want to talk about it.
The dwarf, the beekeeper?
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's fair. If it's his story to tell, then, it's admirable to not want to talk out of school, I guess.
Yeah. I'm sure there are things that he'd like to forget, just like there are things I'd like to forget.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah. Makes three of us, I guess.
There are a lot of strange ideas floating about by people who want to control things in our world. This makes me shake my head.
Yeah, like the wardens. Who put them in charge of everything anyway?
No, you're not a big fan of them.
Yeah.
Yet you have one amongst your ranks.
He's retired.
Was his retirement your doing?
Well, I can be pretty persuasive.
Boy, don't I know that.
I don't know a good way to ask this, Charm. But but that doesn't really stop me a lot of the time. Have you, like, been in a lot of relationships with people?
No.
No. Okay.
Have you?
Maybe too many. They've all ended pretty badly. Maybe we shouldn't be in one, is I guess what I'm trying to say.
Are you worried for me or are you worried for you?
For you.
Well, we can take this as lightly as you want it. If it were up to me, I can wait.
Okay. I'll think about it. Good night.
Good night.
Curtain closes again.
Yeah.
Love it. Yeah, the group of you get a nice long rest. And wake up in the morning to the same darkness you fell asleep to. Dark rooms lit kind of only by softly glowing fungi that are in like pots and things in the corners. You can still hear the sounds of the winds howling outside, and in fact there was basically the sounds of rocks pounding against your walls all through the night, in air quotes there.
Can we mark a long rest?
You can mark a long rest though. Yes.
Yeah.
And then I need to know what the plan is for today.
Oh boy. The plan is to...
End of today, 2 apparatuses of Kramik will be ready to descend into darkness. But until then, you have...
Are we going to leave tonight or are we going to leave tomorrow morning? So it'd be nice to go down freshly rested, but I know time is of the essence.
I'm worried.
I reckon we can make that decision tonight, see how today goes.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't want to burn a lot of
spells. If we keep things light today, don't really overextend ourselves, I think we can be ready for tonight.
All right, we'll try.
If nothing happens like yesterday, unexpected.
That's true. Yeah, well, if something does happen, we can leave tomorrow, I guess. Embers, do you want to go to the forum with me today?
Oh, I hadn't thought about it, she lies.
Yeah, not even gonna roll insight. I'd like the company. I think Rhyme is gonna stay here and try to help the collective a little bit more.
Yeah.
If you don't mind.
No, I suppose that would be fine.
Any of y'all have any bright ideas on how to protect some scholars from some flying boulders?
They couldn't take the prototype, could they?
I thought about
without
that.
getting set back.
Would it set us back?
Yeah.
Okay.
It would set them back, yeah. If that thing.
Well,
took
I wonder
more
if there's
damage.
any.
If
any
it took
scraps.
damage?
Is there any scrap metal or anything you could build like a makeshift
Cage or something?
barricade or something? Yeah, that they can, hold.
Like shields,
gonna-
basically?
Yeah, if
Mhm.
I'm gonna give them a ride as a spider, then they can just fasten it to me or something.
We could probably make
You
something,
could,
right?
yeah, you could theoretically make some sort of makeshift. What I'm thinking of is like a palanquin, but you strap it onto a spider, right? So you could make a structure that mounts onto giant spider Elwyn's back that would protect them. You could try and make something like that. Or you could try and make just personal shields or whatever you want to do. Either way.
Well, the other idea, Embers, when you shoot those sunbeams from your hands, does it expend a lot of energy for you? Is that just something you can do?
It's pretty easy for me.
Yeah, it's not gonna like burn key points or something.
No, I can do it.
Great. Because what if I make it so that you can walk along the ceiling without having to use your hands, and you can be the escort, and you can shoot those boulders out of the sky if they get close.
I'll take a crack at it.
Yeah. And then we can have just maybe some quick rudimentary shields or something that the passengers can carry. Sounds like maybe worth trying?
Yeah, I'll hold up my end.
Great. Let me check how long this spider climb spell lasts.
I think it's quite a long time. I think it's like 8 hours.
Is it a ritual?
It's at will.
Yep.
Ooh, oh, that's right.
Yup.
You have that now.
Up to an hour.
Oh.
But
That's
it's
less than 8.
concentration,
That's still
so
pretty good.
yeah, it's concentration. So if I get hit by a boulder, I'll
Yeah.
have to roll for it.
If you get hit by a boulder, scholars go falling into the dark.
Yeah, everyone goes falling basically.
Wilhelm scream.
No, if I'm going to be a spider,
Mm-hmm.
I can cast Spider Climb on you, Embers, first, transform into the giant spider, and then I can carry a person on my back that has like 2
The
shields.
shield. And then I'll be there making sure you don't get hit by boulders.
Yeah, and then
And ideally that I don't get hit by boulders.
yeah.
Okay. And
a good
I
point.
just have to ask, what is Charm doing today? Is Charm going to stay behind here in Ingenuity and try and move things along here? Is Charm wanting to go to the public forum?
You're welcome to
No.
be our test subject. Take the first ride.
Charm will look towards Rhyme and ask if he could use an extra set or 2 of hands.
I don't know, Ethan. I don't really know. I don't have a
So,
good image on
what
what
I'll
we need to do.
She has very good hands.
What I'll say is, with your skill
Noted.
challenge, things are
Not even
already
gonna
on
roll.
track here. Like I'm ignoring the. I'm just moving on. With your success in the skill challenge, things are already on track here. Rhyme, you don't even have to stay. If you stay, you have opportunities to make improvements and adjustments. Like anything you as a player can think of that you might want to add onto this apparatus, you have the opportunity to add that. But if you don't stay, things are going to proceed just fine. They'll be ready by end of day today. If you stay, it's basically just like you have opportunity to iterate and improve.
Yeah, okay. That sounds... I see what you're saying. So I'll look at Ember's good hands? Okay. Yeah.
Embers
I'm not even going to roll
Embers
insight.
waggles her eyebrows.
And then I'll let the joke drop. Be like, no, Charm, you're good.
And Charm's like, I thought we were taking things slow.
One of Charm's antenna will kind of do it
Yeah.
like a wavy thing.
Oh,
Embers
okay.
like, yeah, I know,
Yeah.
Like
So-
if she had eyelashes, she'd be fluttering her eyelashes, but she
Mhm.
can't, so she uses her antenna.
Yep.
No, Charm, go have fun today. It's fine.
Okay.
I'm going to make sure there's cup holders on this thing.
Well, Charm, how about you take the maiden voyage? You can test out the shields, and then you can help on the other side escort people or help people off on the other side. Does that sound like a plan?
I can do that.
All right.
The group of you lay your plans and prepare to set them into motion. There's no warm breakfast or anything brought to you, but a scholar, like one of those junior scholars, does come up while you're finishing laying your plans and kind of knock on the door. And when you come to the door, they greet you and in Undercommon say, while the group of you were sleeping, we did receive 2 flash code messages from the other spires. From Wisdom, someone at the university reached out to let us know that something called a night mantis has information for you.
That's great.
I don't know what that is or what that means, but I'm hoping you do. From what is the center spire? Independence. From Independence, we received a communication saying that Advocate DeVere has spoken with the Ancient Mother, and the forum is going to be happening in the next few hours.
Great.
And she is hoping that Lady Elwyn Amelos will be in attendance. She also, it was a long message. She indicated that she would like to speak to the group of you, whoever can come back before the forum, if possible.
Great. Well, we were just heading over there. Thank you.
Great. Then I'll take my leave. And this junior scholar kind of rushes off to get back to it. As you head back into kind of the main area, you see Scholar Alen'dal is hard at work, basically at one of the alchemical fixtures, kind of like turning dials, getting like the proper drip. I don't know how alchemy works, but they have alembics boiling and bubbling, and they're rushing between them, giving orders to the other alchemist scholars, and you can hear the loud hammering from Ceramic Forge Fury's forge room, shouts in Undercommon of directions to like, cool this, bang on that, that kind of thing. So
I think I'll go to
things are in progress here.
I'll go to Forge Fury and explain in Undercommon if he has any scrap things that can be pounded into some quick shields.
Yep. I got a whole mess of metal in a room over here somewhere. Hold up, let me go take a look. And he bustles off and comes back with a bunch of scrap metal. So we can launch into part 1 of the plan, which is I need a Smith's tools check from Vert to establish the quality of the shields you produce.
Okay. Just Smith's tools.
Smith's tools is going to be murder on the S's. I'm sorry, Kay.
No.
Okay.
If I roll a tools check, is it a stat and proficiency, or is it just proficiency?
Yeah, so in this case, let's just default to intelligence plus proficiency.
Okay,
yeah.
So I rolled a 10, and then so that would be 17.
Okay, so pretty decent quality. They're more than just like your average. Yeah.
Sorry, that's actually 18 because I have +1 to tools.
Okay. They're a little bit more than just like your they're more than just like a regular shield. What did they end up looking like?
I think I wanted them to be kind of like dome shaped, so that they can sort of like deflect any debris and stuff like that easily, and they're kind of like maybe it's kind of large too, just so they can like block for the rider and the spider as well.
Okay.
Yeah. And then let's go with that. Yeah.
I like that. Yeah. So they're designed so kind of like the rocks that hit them will roll off or like bounce off.
They'll deflect somewhere else. Yeah.
And they'll cover, more than just the person holding them. Sounds cool.
While he's doing that, I'll relay my plan to Scholar Dalil and just say, if you want to start gathering some people up who want to make the trek over, and probably I don't know how long it takes or how many people will be able to get over there before the thing starts, but we're going to head over with Charm first, and Ambrose and I'll come back for some more people.
Yeah. Scholar Dalil takes you over to kind of like the library area and shows you a chalkboard or a whiteboard where they had written out pretty much like all the names of the scholars here, and then done some math and equations and projections and all of this stuff to try and figure out how many people they could spare. And there's a subset of those names, not a lot of people, because there aren't a lot of people in this spire to begin with, but maybe like 20, 25 people.
Wow.
Who they're hoping you can ferry across.
Yeah. We'll see how many we can get. Great. And we'll be back in a little while. And then I'll go up to Embers and Charm and say, all right, you ready to test this baby out?
Yep. Embers stretches. Ready.
I reach forward and I just put my hand on Embers' arm. And I've never tried this before, and it might tingle a little. Thanks for being a good sport. And I'll cast Spider Climb on her.
There's a flash of red light, and Embers, you feel a little bit of like a feeling of something crawling on you for a moment. But then as you kind of look at your hands, they're I mean, I don't want to say they're full Tobey Maguire Spider-Man with like little hooks, but
Yeah.
like there is like a like a little bit of physical alteration there, and you kind of reach out towards a wall and you can feel your hand sticks to it, and then you kind of test it with your foot, and you are able to climb onto the wall and then onto the ceiling without even using your hands if you want to.
All right. So Embers is going to scamper up to the ceiling.
So once I see that that's working, I'll go ahead and transform into a giant spider again, because that's apparently my trick.
So, Elwyn, do you think on the test run, should we pop over to Wisdom to see what Night Mantis has to say first?
Yeah, I think isn't what's the name of the middle spire again?
Independence.
Yes.
Independence. Isn't it Independence on the way to Wisdom?
It is.
Yeah, so we can stop by there first, and drop you off, and then I can go get Night Mantis and bring her back to Independence on the way back. Or unless you want to go straight there.
Either way, I thought she might have information that might be useful before the forum.
Yeah, I don't doubt it. Yeah, we can swing by and pick her up. Then we can all be in the same place when she gives us her information.
Okay.
But we'll head to Independence first, I think.
Hey, are you two coming?
Yeah.
Embers hanging from the ceiling.
I kind of lower a shoulder to help Charm climb up.
Embers, do you want to
With
take
the
like
cage.
some test shots against rocks while you're waiting?
Sure.
Okay. Just roll an attack. We'll see how it goes.
It's a 26.
That's really good. What is your damage range? Like your minimum and your maximum?
I do a D6 so that, and the minimum is that can be 6 to 11.
6 to 11. Okay. Yeah, with your test shots, you're able to take out like a number of the smaller rocks. When your radiant bolts hit them, they just shatter. You find
But
that
you can
with
get
like
up to like 3 per round, right?
Well, per attack, it's 6 to 11,
okay.
and I can do 3 per round.
and you find that like with the medium rocks, you need kind of like a better hit, than average to try and blow them apart. But like between, like Kay just pointed out, your speed, you're able to, for the most part, take out any, small or medium rocks that you see. It's when the rocks get really big that your blasts don't quite cut it.
Right.
Okay.
But those are rarer.
Keep an eye out for those and try to avoid them as I go.
I can. So then what I need from Elwyn is Spider-Wyn, is a like an acrobatics check at advantage. Because of the shields and because Embers is kind of helping you with the blasts.
Okay. Acrobatics. So that's just a +3. Cool. Okay. Natural 20.
Okay. I was going to say, if you roll really well, we don't have to do this every time.
Nice.
And so basically, the first time goes without a hitch. Your plan works flawlessly. Each of you is doing exactly your part. The shields are working They're doing exactly what Rhyme designed them to do. Elwyn, you're skittering away from the biggest chunks of rocks, and Embers, you're able to blast the smallest ones and kind of the medium range ones that do come close. Everything works. This solution works for crawling across the ceiling, no problem.
Nice.
Where are you headed? Did you decide wisdom or independence?
I can't carry two people at once, so we'll stop at independence first to drop off Charm. And then I'll tell Charm, if you want to go and let Advocate Devere know there's going to be a flood of people incoming from Ingenuity, and that we'll be back to talk to her in a little while. And then you can meet us here to start helping us with the people.
I can do that.
Thank you, sweetheart.
See you later. Be careful.
Right. And then I'll kind of motion to Embers with my legs and head off toward Wisdom to go get Night Mantis.
Okay. Charm, we'll circle back to you in a moment. But the two of you make your way over to Wisdom, and you land there. I'm trying to remember what type of geode Wisdom was. Oh yeah, it's a white quartz geode. So you land on kind of where the bridge would have extended from this thing that's been broken away, and make your way into the white quartz geode. You see, while you're at the entrance, there are a couple of the stoic sentinels in their kind of white uniforms with their chitinous armor, who seem to be watching all of the entrances of this geode, because this is where they got stuck. There's no sign of the captain, but a couple of them do kind of give you side eye. They recognize you, and they don't accost you at all, but they give you a little bit of side eye.
Does that one give him 4 side eyes back?
8. You have 4 on each side, I guess.
Yeah. I think Elwyn would just kind of linger menacingly for just long enough to make them uncomfortable. In my spider form, just
snap your mouth at him a little bit.
No, just stare.
Okay.
Yeah, they
that's
they
the creepiest
kind of
spider thing.
Fidget with their uniforms and try and sit up straight. It's not long before Night Mantis is brought to you. Your presence causes enough of a commotion that people knew to expect you. So Night Mantis comes and she sees Embers and she sees Spiderwin and says, "Oh, I was sort of hoping my brother would be with the group of you. I was hoping to talk to him."
He's helping back at the collective, making adjustments, plans, things like that. They're working on devices.
Could you take me there? I think the information I have would be most useful for him. To downplay any of your skills.
We're going back. Elwyn here is ferrying people
shoulder
back and forth from the collective. So we're going.
Perfect. The scholars here have been amazing. They know so much, despite only really researching this nexus in earnest for about a month. They have so much information, more than either of us had before. I think I have an idea, and I need Vert's input to see if it will actually work.
Oh, hop aboard the spider.
Yeah, Night Mantis climbs up.
Great. Then we'll just head back to Ingenuity then.
Okay. Vert, probably about half an hour later, Night Mantis, Embers, and Elwyn show up.
Yeah, Vert's kind of surprised to see Night Mantis.
Yeah, she comes up to you, kind of taking in the surroundings. Oh, you must feel right at home here. This is... this is almost... There's a lot of similarities here to where you grew up, at least.
I'll just whisper loudly back, I might just stay here when we're done. Wink.
She doesn't seem to know if you're joking.
I'm clearly joking, but yeah.
Wait, can I interject here?
Yeah.
For Rhyme, that might not be a terrible idea. Has it occurred to you that we haven't seen hide nor hair of the Empire here? No wardens, nothing. This is a good staging ground for things we may need to do.
If everything goes well, I mean, actually, yeah, you bring up a good point.
Anyway, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, that's actually, yeah, good on you. That was I didn't think about it seriously.
Something to think about.
So you're not gonna go to the forum?
That's not important.
Yeah, what's going
on? Right. So I've learned a lot. So the primal nexuses, there's a lot of them. They're scattered throughout the world, or so the scholars here think. They don't really know the exact positions of any of them, but between information that I had and information that they had, the scholars here think there might be, one for every one of the major elemental, types, and maybe some of the in-between elemental types as well. Obviously, the one here is wind. You told me you'd seen one of that ice, was attuned to cold.
Did you mean the world or the continent? Are they actually?
The scholars here can't guess, and okay. I don't know, but my intuition says maybe a lot of them, at least, will be confined to this continent.
I see.
This is just myth and rumor and legend, but from my understanding, the continent that houses the Thracian Empire is the oldest in the world.
Oh.
So it makes sense that these sorts of things would be concentrated here.
Mm-hmm.
The scholars think they contain the raw powers of creation, and that's why they're so incredibly powerful. They think that the primordials drew from these connection points, these nexuses, which bind this world to the primal planes. And they used that power to create this world itself. But that's why I think it's so incredibly important that we tamper with these very carefully.
Okay.
The scholars here mentioned that until recently, this nexus was covered by Earth. And some of them theorized that might have been important for the seal. Something about opposite elements. So...
Is that in order for, to seal them? Or is that,
Yeah, she nods.
Huh.
I don't think all of them...
Yeah.
I don't think all of them were sealed that way, but...
Okay. I don't remember any indication of that at the other one.
The scholars here suspect that it might have helped maintain the seal and keep it permanent and well affixed.
A lot of good that to this one, I guess.
I was thinking one option might be to bury this thing.
Isn't it already? What do you mean? Just throw a bunch of cause an earthquake?
Mantis nods. If we could find some way to put a bunch of earth and rock in between this source of wind and, the people up here, or it might be one option or something that would help. The other thing I was thinking, Night Mantis pulls out a book where she was taking notes and writing down, all of the information that she learned from the scholars and their observations on the nexuses. And she shows it to you and she says, it's basically like a series of runes. And she shows this to you and she says, this is the kind of magic enchantment that they would think would have to bind this kind of thing. They don't have firsthand records of it. So obviously it's not necessarily accurate, but I was looking at this and I was thinking, doesn't that seem similar to the sorts of runes and enchantments and things that bound the Guardians at Vagma?
Do I believe that's... sounds good enough.
I believe I mentioned it back when you were in the chamber with the cold primal nexus, but there was a similarity to the Guardians that you recognized back then.
Yeah, it sure does seem pretty intertwined now that we've been researching it and looking at these things a little bit more closely. I mean, I don't really know the true ins and outs of what the controllers know, or knew, but yeah, definitely seems familiar.
Yeah, she nods, seeming to like draw excitement from your confirmation of what she was thinking as well. And she says, if that's the case, this is just a theory, but is it possible that, ancient artificers in what became Vagma somehow modified the magic of the seal that was placed on the nexuses? Like maybe there was a nexus or nexuses in Vagma, and artificers modified the seal on those to create the Guardians. Yeah. And if so, maybe we can do the same here.
I think, well, you were just starting to say that we were getting the exact same. Yeah, I agree.
It might be dangerous, but it's something I think we should think about. The scholars. Yep.
Are we about to walk into a bunch of Guardians that Cephalith created from this thing?
It's possible.
Yeah, shrug.
What you're talking about, but
my understanding is that the people of Erudition have sent scouts down there, but none came back. I don't think there's any way of knowing what's waiting for us down there.
I mean, we can confirm there's at least a hostile presence, but we don't really know what they've been doing and what experiments they've been conducting. So it's hard to tell if they've in any way weaponized or, are able to utilize it in this way.
And that's not even really all there are to the dangers that we could be facing. If we do try to alter the seal that was placed on this nexus, the scholars that I was working with mentioned an area of the Underdark, I think north of here, that they called the Weird Dark. And they theorize it was originally the site of a primal nexus, but now things are strange and altered and dangerous there. They don't know what might have happened, but it could be a sign of possible ramifications of tampering gone wrong. So it's a possible solution, but there's risk as well.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you and I don't have firsthand experience with this type of thing, so it's not really easy to know if it's even within our power without seeing it. I'm almost thinking it might be too dangerous if we don't actually have that knowledge. But we can at least look and make a decision once we lay eyes on it.
Yeah, she nods and says, I don't have any way of assessing if it's something that we can work with, but honestly, I don't know what else to try.
Yeah, I mean, bringing down a whole bunch of, to your first solution, bringing down a whole bunch of rock and stuff, I don't really know how we would do that either yet. And I don't really know what volume we would need to pacify these winds.
If we stop the winds, there's going to be a lot of rock raining down on us. I have plenty to work with.
We stop the winds, there's going to be a lot of rock.
From the rocks that are being thrown around by the wind right now, it's all going to fall.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we're surrounded motions to everywhere by plenty. It's just a matter of if that's enough and how we get more, and But yeah, I guess it can be if it's turned off, that can just be a progressive thing, right? Where the people can all work together to seal it in that way.
Shakes her head and says, I don't know if there's a solution where we turn this thing off.
But that's all part of
going down there, right?
It's been open to an extent.
I think it's You're right. You're right. We need to get down there and see what we're working with.
Yeah, I don't think we have all the information, but I think you brought forward a lot of things that are very good. So at least we're not going in completely blind.
I don't mean to interrupt
Yeah.
Nightmares, but we have a lot of people to ferry over to the forum.
Right. I don't need to stop you. I think I've learned all I can over there with the scholars. Brian, would you mind if I stay here? I feel like maybe I can help,
certainly.
or I can keep working on this problem.
Sure. Yeah, you guys can go. We'll stay here.
Okay.
All right.
Enjoy the forum.
Vert, as you go back to work, and this is something we will hop into maybe next session, but you do feel a rumbling in the back of your mind
That's what I wanted.
Nyadon has something to say, but we'll come back to that next session.
Okay.
Elwyn, Embers, and Elwyn and Embers. Now you begin ferrying the chosen scholars across, and between your efforts, it's no problem. You get all 25 of them across.
How long does it take? Because I think the spider climb's only an hour, and I can recast it, but I'd have to drop wild shape and then redo wild shape.
Yep.
Okay, so I've burned both of my wild shapes for now, but I'll get them back on a short rest.
Okay.
Which, unless a fight or something comes up, you will have time for a short rest, surely.
Or, I could take a short rest during the forum or whatever, But just good to know that I've used both of them now.
Yeah.
To do this ferrying.
Charm, while this ferrying is happening, you manage to go off, and how do you go about looking for Advocate Devere?
Well, I think amid all the chatter, I will try to telepathically listen to her voice and then hone in for it, I guess.
Okay. Roll just a perception check.
Is that a 9 or a 6? It's a 9. Plus 9 plus 6, 15.
15. You don't pick up on much of the conversation, but you find her talking with a bunch of other drow with various colors of stripes in their hair. It's kind of a very, mix-matched group. There's no real, common threads or anything like that, but they seem to be having kind of a hushed conversation off in, a corner of a plaza together. And when you approach, that conversation seems to come to an end, and the group around her begins to disperse, and she turns towards you and says, "Ah, Charm. You got my message then, I take it? Is Elwyn here?"
Yes, we got your message. She is busy ferrying people from, what's the name of it? It's not Independent. Ingenuity. Because they would like to see the forum too, but she'll be here directly.
Well, that's good news. Then, if we might, I'd love to go and speak with her. Would you accompany me?
Of course.
Yeah, and she begins to guide you back towards, the area where Elwyn will be, arriving with the scholars. And while you're walking, this will be the last little conversation we have before we end, because I know it's late. While you're walking, Shava just says, there's a little bit of silence, and then Shava kind of breaks it by saying, "Do you mind if I ask?
Anything.
Are you religious? Do you have a god that you follow?"
No, not really.
None caught your attention?
No, not where I was from. Not since. No.
And where were you from?
I come from the Scarspell Desert.
I've heard of the place. I don't know much about it, though. I've I know of surface geography, I know of surface religions and things like that, but I've never been there myself. It must be such a strange place.
It has a wild beauty of its own.
I don't know how I'd feel without a ceiling above my head, to be perfectly honest.
There are
But that's
many kingdoms and many types. There's many beauties to be found all over creation.
I agree. I only asked about your religious inclinations because I believe I've prepared a solid argument, but there is a portion at the end of the forum where the community, the crowd observing the forum, is allowed to offer arguments of their own, and advocates are allowed a short time for rebuttal. I suspect that during that time, the only arguments offered by the crowd will be those against me. I have, and she holds up a piece of paper, I have a written testimony from your friend Embers, but the more that I have that I could offer during that time, the better, and I was just hoping some from your group might be able to offer a word. But I suppose not.
Well, I am open to one. If one should happen that I agree with, so I'm
You
not
think you
completely
could
closed off.
talk about your reasoning for that stance?
I don't see why not.
I think that would go quite a long ways if you wouldn't be opposed. The people need to see that there are others with reasonable minds who support the kinds of things that I am arguing for. It's a tough stance to take, but someone has to take it. And I think with that, you kind of arrive at the entrance to this stalactite, and you see Spider Elwyn ferrying drow scholars across, and that's where we will end this episode. We just end with scholar or advocate Dalil kind of looking up at Spider Elwyn ferrying these people across with hope in her eyes, and that's where we'll close. So thank you to everyone who came to watch. Thank you to the group of you who came and joined to play this game. And I need more water because my voice is dying. We'll be back with more of this Monday, 7 p.m. Pacific time. Hope to see you then. Bye.
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 Bye.